Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from the currently running production, the free Shakespeare Series, Riverside Theatre in Iowa City. It is A Midsummer Night's Dream. Adam Knight is here, director of the show and of Riverside Theatre.
Yep, happy to be here.
And Kathleen Johnson. Kathleen, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
It's usually here as the marketing person for the theater, but you are in the cast, as is another member of your family.
I am.
So we're going to dig into that as well. First off, Adam, it's hard to imagine anyone is not familiar with Riverside's Summer Shakespeare Series, but just give us just a little bit of general information before we start talking about the specifics. I guess the biggest and most important thing is it is kind of as Shakespeare originally envisioned it, because your stage in Lower City Park is modeled on the globe.
Yeah, so if you've ever found yourself in Lower City Park, maybe you've left Hampshire and kind of driving around and you see this like thing that looks like it's from another era. It's a stage, and for much of the year, it's dark. But however, in the summer months, in June particularly, Riverside is in residence there and presents Shakespeare. We built the stage in partnership with the city in 2000, and this programming became free in 2018. The stage is reminiscent of Shakespeare's Globe. It's reminiscent of an Elizabethan, a Jacobean theater. It's all seated, but so there's no groundlings. It's not standing room. But you do get a sense of what Shakespeare intended, which is this sense of theater under the stars. As the sun sets, the play becomes more and more theatrical with theatrical lighting. But the soliloquies just hit in a different way. The actors really talking to the audience, the actors kind of weaving in and out of the audience as they're entering and exit. It feels like an immersive experience. It feels like a time capsule to another way of play going and a way of play experiencing. And it taps into this literature that feels very distant, but if we lean into it and it comes to us, all of a sudden we're understanding this text that is our inheritance as English speakers. And we find that, oh my gosh, we're experiencing this thing that maybe felt a little daunting on the page or in high school, but now it feels so wonderfully human and fun.
I agree that this is as an audience member, it's an experience like no other, because you know, I've seen a lot of theater. I've seen a lot of theater outside. But I got to tell you, when I walk into that structure and sit down, even though I'm sitting in a nice, comfortable seat, I feel like I'm back in the 17th century.
There's something about it. It's the wooden columns. It's got this kind of big circle above that just feels like the globe. When they talk about the heavens, you look up and you can see the sky. You know, they reference the moon a lot in this play, and the moon is coming up. And also, by the way, we're performing it at actual midsummer, which in Shakespeare's time is what they called the summer solstice. So we're actually performing it around the time in which the show takes place, and that's really fun.
So we are experiencing it in a lot of the way that except for the electric lights that will come on as things get
very
dark.
much so, yeah.
But we're experiencing it very much the way they originally did in England all those years ago.
I love it. It's a beautiful story, and there's a lot of things you can do with Shakespeare, and we certainly have our own take on this world. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to honor the play and honor this beautiful story and tell it well. I've seen a lot of productions of this play. Sometimes people go really crazy with, oh, the lovers are like Seinfeld characters, or the fairies are like punk rockers from the 1980s. And I love that concept. Our production really tried to lean into the classical allusions that Shakespeare has. It takes place in Athens. So Shakespeare is writing about a time that was well before his time. But also this idea of fairies, which was very medieval mythology, not really Roman mythology. And the kind of interplay of that is something that we tried to honor. I think that our production really captures the wonderful low comedy of Midsummer, and Midsummer is really freaking funny, but also the high poetry of Midsummer as well, with the fairies and the switch into couplets from prose. And just the way that the fairy songs and the high court really is a contrast to the mechanicals with the play within the play and the lovers fighting. It's a production that I think captures the full range of what this play can do and why this play is still performed.
And what led you to schedule it for this year? What was your, again, looking at all the Shakespeare that we have to choose from, why this one, why now?
It's one of those hits, and a lot of audience kept asking me, when are you going to do Midsummer? When are you going to do Midsummer? And I kept putting it back because I wasn't sure that we were ready yet as a company to do a really good production of it. It's a play that needs a deep bench, and seeing what we were able to accomplish last year with Romeo and Juliet, with the artistic quality of that play, which also requires a big bench, the way that we did it, I said, okay, I think that we can pull off this play now. And seeing the fact that we had so many young people come to come to Romeo and Juliet, excuse me, I thought, okay, this is a way to really recapture that audience. And so, what if we get them to come to not one play, not two plays or three, but to have this be a part of their summer experience every summer for a formidable part of their upbringing? This could really inspire a whole generation of theatergoers, and we're seeing that play out already. We had more than 1,200 people come to the park this weekend, 500 people on opening night and Sunday night, and seeing a lot of really young kids there. And they're not only coming for the first act, they're staying for the entirety of the play, and watching their responses to the fairies and their responses to Bottom being a donkey. It's inspiring. And for me, I'm saying, okay, these are the people that are going to be bringing their kids to Midsummer in 20 or 30 years.
Kathleen, you kind of wear two hats, as we said, in this, not only, helping administer and organize and promote, but you're also in the cast. So first off, tell me about your part.
Yeah, so my role at Riverside is education and outreach. And as an educator, I was really excited to see that we were programming Midsummer right after Romeo and Juliet, because those plays are often referred to as twin plays. It's widely agreed upon that he wrote those plays at the same time. There's a lot of question as to which one came first or which one was inspired first, but they really are the same story. At the heart of it, it's the same story between Romeo and Juliet and A Midsummer. Romeo and Juliet is the tragedy, right? Nothing can bend in that world, and then you have the sadness that follows. But Midsummer, the world bends, everyone adapts, and it becomes the comedic version of what happens when multiple young people are in love with each other, and they're trying to navigate that within the world they live. So I think it's really exciting for audiences to get to see those. If you've seen it or if you know Romeo and Juliet, you have those touch points with the comedy. And then getting to be in a comedy is great. I have a small part. I'm one of the mechanicals. I think I have 4 or 5 lines, but that's perfect for me because I get to be on stage with incredibly talented, incredibly funny people and have a blast.
And it's a bit of a family affair.
Yeah.
Because your daughter's in the show.
Yes. It was really exciting when Adam started talking about casting, and as a company we were looking at casting, I think it came up, this idea that the fairies, right, we really wanted a wide range of ages for them. And so we dipped down out of kind of our normal age bracket, and we have 2 very young fairies, a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, and then a 13-year-old and 20-something and so on up. But it's been wonderful. My daughter's been in other plays, but this is her first professional experience.
Your daughter, and Arena's daughter, who is also on the staff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, for our managing director, Raina Sarich's daughter, Kaya, is in it, along with Lily Johnson, and they're killing it. They're doing amazing work. I was Peas Blossom, so I was one of the fairies as a young person too, and they're doing a far better job than I ever did.
And your wife, Mary Jane, who of course is no stranger to theater or this show. As returning champion to the Culture Crawl. She's in it as well. So it really is a family affair.
Yeah, Mary Jane's a fantastic Titania, and really bringing a classical music to that world. She also composed the fairy songs as well, and it really, again, heightens the play beyond, I think, what we normally expect with Midsummer. And we've got a great cast. I mean, we have 18 people in the cast. It's one of the larger casts that Riverside's ever had for this programming. And, a lot of productions of Midsummer have a great Bottom, which we do, or a great Titania and Oberon. We've got a great Snug the Joiner. We've got a great Moth. We have a really amazing team, and so seeing what happens when all those pieces that can sometimes companies for whatever reason just aren't able to fill. I'm seeing laughs in this play that I've never experienced before. And I've seen this play a lot. And there are moments that I've never seen pop. And it's because this company is really clicking on all gears and just doing amazing listening and collaborating work. It's a very exciting production.
Well, you've anticipated my next question, which was, since I get to talk to you mid-run, as opposed to how do you think it's going to go? Now you know how it actually is going. And you mentioned that one of the things that you're seeing is laughs in places that you haven't always seen them. So what else kind of surprised you as you've gotten to see this come to life and watch it evolve through the run instead of just through the rehearsal process?
Well, I just love how deeply the audience is listening. One always expects the mechanical sections to kill. I mean, it's comedy that has not aged. And I've seen some very bad productions of Midsummer, but those scenes have always been funny. So we knew that those were going to click. What is so amazing to me is watching how well they talk to the fairydom land, to the Athenian royalty, to the lovers. All four of these worlds really feel of a piece rather than separate worlds. And that's a real trap of this play, is that the company is not always rehearsing together. The play is very segmented, and only really at the end do these worlds finally come together. And our production feels of a piece, and I think the audience is experiencing that too. And watching them really be with us for the highs and the lows of the text is very inspiring.
I'd say that, a core belief of Riverside is that Shakespeare is for everyone, that it's not on a pedestal only for a few to understand. And I think this production of Midsummer is a really wonderful example of that. We trust that when we present the work as it is, that people are going to be able to understand it. And then we hold their hands in that too, right? We have a green show that's available at 7:00 before each performance. That's a modern English kind of comedic rundown, all the things you forgot you learned about Shakespeare in high school.
Kind of like previously on Shakespeare.
Exactly. And that's wonderful, not only for the young people in the crowd who have never experienced it or learned it, but for the older friends in the crowd who maybe it's been a while since they've lived with this story. And then we have educational inserts that go into every program for you to use or not use if you need a refresher on who's that character I'm looking at and how are they related to these other people and what's happening. And I think what we're finding, and you can hear it in the reactions and the conversations you have after the run of the show, is that people are surprising themselves. They say, I don't always love Shakespeare, but I wanted to come out and participate and do this. It's a part of our summer. They go, I get it, and I loved it, and I enjoyed it, and it was funny. And my kid, I thought I'd have to take them home, but they begged me to stay until the end. And hearing that, I think, is really wonderful because we're helping to be a part of this, I think, nationwide and worldwide movement that's saying everyone is capable of coming to these stories, seeing themselves in these stories and understanding them. And that's what makes Shakespeare timeless, is our ability to all connect with it.
Yeah. That's the piece that we lose when we study it in school, I think, because it's very academic. It's, reading these, trying to wrap your teenage brain around these words and that. But, when you get to see it later, you've maybe logged a few miles yourself, then you can kind of let it wash over you.
Yeah.
The fact that the idiom is not quite what we use now. You kind of get into the rhythm, and your actors, of course, always do a great job of explaining with their bodies and voices what they're doing at the same time as they're saying the lines. And it really speaks to us the same today as it did in medieval England.
I love me some Shakespeare research, don't get me wrong, but Shakespeare was meant to be performed. It was written to be seen and not necessarily read. And I think that's really exciting.
Yeah. I mean, one of the challenges of this play, I will say, though, is that Midsummer is synonymous with spectacle, because we think, the fairies, how are you going to do the fairies? Are they going to fly? They're not flying, spoiler alert. But it does ask a lot of the design team. And the challenge of that is, how do you not overburden the production with design in such a way that really gets in the way of what Shakespeare was doing? Because he wasn't writing for a fly system or this amazing spectacle.
He didn't do special effects.
No, very little. And so I think that our amazing team of designers, several of whom are new this year, have just created just the right amount of spectacle to do this amazing scenic change in broad daylight. And then once night hits, to really immerse us in that world. Almost all the costumes are constructed. There's this amazing kind of blossoming that happens on the set where all of a sudden this green fabric just pops out of every nook and cranny and kind of becomes the forest. And watching that happen without any smoke and mirrors and without the benefit of light is really special on our stage. I think it's a level of scenic and costumes and overall production quality that is raising the bar for this programming out in the park.
Riverside Theatre presents its free Shakespeare Series, Midsummer Night's Dream, through June 28th. And tell me the show schedule.
We are Thursdays through Sundays at 7:30 p.m. through June 28th. And I should also just mention that this would not be possible without our amazing sponsors, including our lead sponsor, I'm On Communications.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that we hope you join us out there. We've been seeing those seats fill up earlier and earlier. So we recommend you get there, by 7 if you can. But you can also bring a lawn chair, bring a blanket. We have some side areas. We don't have groundlings, but we have a few people that enjoy the show from the ground as well. So there's lots of ways to see it.
And the green show is always very fun.
Yeah.
Like you said, to give you a little refresher on what you're going to see. So definitely come, make an evening out of it. You mentioned bringing a chair just in case maybe it gets full. Refreshments or anything? Do you have some on site? Do people bring their own?
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a lot of adult and non-adult beverages. We've got ice cream and we've got food courtesy of Oasis and also some charcuterie plates. So come and enjoy some fun food and snacks. You're welcome to bring your own as well. And like you said, if you're planning on arriving closer to curtain time, you may want to bring that lawn chair just in case or a blanket.
If people want more information, they can visit you on Facebook or the web at
riversidetheatre.org, and it's theater with an R-E.
All right. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you. See you in the park.
You can hear The Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.